Hi, this is Larry Mendte, and this is the first in a series of interviews that I will be doing for my Capstone Project at Qunnipiac University. This is on the changing media landscape from traditional media to multimedia, and if journalism schools and communication programs are preparing students for that. And with me now is Brian Howard from Philadelphia Magazine. Brian, thanks so much for doing this. Could you describe what you do at Philadelphia Magazine?
Sure. My title here is news editor at Philadelphia Magazine, and might be a sort of a strange title given that I have practically nothing to do with the print magazine. My role is almost entirely online. I am the news and commentary editor for the website. So basically, when you go to phillymag.com and anything that is news or commentary related, I am involved in that. Whether it's opinion pieces on what's going on with government, to quick news hits, to longer reported pieces. I am editing and assigning and working with all of that stuff.
And is that kind of common in the industry now for magazines across the country?
Um, I don't have data on that, but I think that anyone who is interested in and making a good adjustment to the online world is definitely putting resources into a 24-hour digital news product. We're not quite 24 hours yet. We're not quite 24 hours a day here yet, but some days it feels that way. Yeah, my sense is that yes, magazines and newspapers that used to come out, daily and monthly and weekly are now having to think hourly and, in day parts.
Yeah, and so you have this changing media landscape. Do you feel, first of all, do you have interns and students and people just out of college coming to work there or contributing?
Yeah, I mean, we have a team of interns, on a semester basis, and some of them come on as part-timers, contractors, and also, I know there's a few people here who started as interns who are full-time, whether it's recent or I think some of our longtime editors also started as interns. But yeah, we are seeing and working with people who are in college and just out of college.
And most of them from journalism and communications programs?
Yeah, that's my sense of it. Yeah, that they're coming through communications, journalism, and some of them English. But yeah, that is where they're coming from.
Do you get the sense that they are being well prepared by their journalism and or communication schools or English schools departments for the changing media landscape?
From what I've seen here and what I've seen in other places I've worked, people coming out of school are much better equipped to not just write a story, but shoot video, take a picture, and then they're also thinking about social media. So from what I've seen, and compared to what I was trained to do coming out of school, there's definitely a much more focus on being able to produce the whole story rather than and across platforms. So my sense is that these kids are not coming out of school thinking I'm going to be a print journalist or I'm going to be a video journalist. They at least have some experience in all of it. So from what I've seen, yes, I'm impressed with what kids are being taught to do these days.
Do you now? Can you discern whether they're getting these skills from their universities or these are just skills that they're picking up along the way because that's what kids do? I mean, they do shoot their own stuff and they hang out on social media.
I don't really know. I couldn't tell you that, but there is definitely a possibility that these kids are digital natives and they grew up thinking I can shoot a video with my camera with my phone and put it online, so why not
Yeah.
do something with that?
What type of skills are you looking for? What if you were hired as a consultant for a journalism department or a media department, multimedia department, what would you recommend that be taught to the kids?
Um, what would I recommend? I mean, I mean, good writing skills and good reporting practices are still important, but on top of that, how to take a good photo, how to frame a photo, how to get good lighting on a photo, even if it's just a hand your iPhone or whatever. Just some good photographic principles. Um, how to conduct an interview for video, because I don't know if those are still things you don't necessarily see everyone thinking about, not just conducting the interview to get what you need for print, but to conduct it in a way that you can also use it, you know, on not necessarily TV, but throw it up on the web and it's a pleasing video to watch, uh, and just you know we're more and more we're seeing social media as a way we are getting our stories out to our audience. So ways to um, push or sell your story to a social network, and what works on your homepage might not be the way you want to sell it on social media. So just thinking about audience and how to sort of like push your story out in different ways to different people. Those are things I think everyone needs to be thinking about. So might as well start in journalism school.
What I find fascinating about all this is that you are a news editor for Philadelphia Magazine.
Hmm.
And the first things you mentioned are social media, which wouldn't lend itself usually to a magazine piece. That's sort of a 24-hour news event,
Hmm.
and interviewing for video and framing pictures. Because in the past, I would think Philadelphia Magazine would always hire photographers. I guess people don't have that luxury anymore. So just in your answer, you showed the changing landscape. I guess. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think what you're saying is that no longer can you learn one skill and
Yeah,
expect to get a job.
for the print magazine, they're still hiring photographers, and um, uh, they're but for the quick paced digital news part of it, yeah, I mean we're looking for someone who can deliver the whole package, with a photo with their story, and if they've got video, that's all the better. But yeah, everything we do online works better with a photo. So the more we can get, the more complete package we can get from the reporter, the better.
Yeah. So how deep into some of this stuff? How technical do you have to get? Do you need to learn HTML? Do you need to learn how to build a website? Do you need to learn, with social media? Do you need to learn analytics? Uh, is there a base knowledge that'll get you by, or do you feel like the journalism school should be teaching more about, for instance, on how to build apps?
I mean, I don't think I don't think a deep knowledge of HTML is necessary, but in terms of working in WordPress or any other digital content management system, a basic understanding of how a bold tag works, or how a link tag works, is I don't code an entire story, but I will jump into the HTML of a story to sort of um, fix tags, or so a working knowledge of how HTML works helps. Designing apps, that I don't think anyone is asking journalists to do that. That might be a little advanced, but a knowledge of how they work, or how your content is going to interact in an app is helpful. So and in terms of analytics, I mean, I feel like that's the biggest change. From I started off at a weekly newspaper where you didn't see what your pickup rate was for a few weeks, whereas I know within a matter of minutes of publishing something, sending it out in a newsletter or putting it on Facebook, if people are reacting to it. So it's a familiarity with Google Analytics, not just hits, but time on page, returning visitors. It's completely changed. I mean, the way I think about what we're doing, and I think that it's valuable and fascinating to me to just watch a story either blow up or unfortunately sometimes it's crickets. So but yeah, I mean that's definitely something I think all journalists need to be looking at.
Yeah, I'm taking a social media analytics course right now, and learning social media strategies. Is there a social media strategy at Philadelphia Magazine that you have or adhere to?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to, in addition to the main social media, I mean, Philadelphia Magazine proper has its own Facebook and Twitter accounts, and then we have several blogs slash verticals that have their own accounts as well. So our health blog has its own Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. Our wedding blog, the same. So and we're basically trying to keep putting things in front of our readers often enough that often enough, but not too often. Basically, we don't want to we don't want to become burdensome to follow, or we've got something every 10 minutes for you. But so we're putting things on Facebook hourly, and Twitter you can sort of do a little more.
Are your writers encouraged to get on social media? And I'm assuming the answer is yes. And if that is the case, is there a standard they need to follow? I mean, are you worried about what they might say?
We have some base. I mean, yes and no. I mean, someone's personal account is they can generally do what they want, but we do sort of ask them that when they are representing the magazine that they behave responsibly. I guess is the sort of general ethos that we have some policies written down that I haven't looked at in a while, so I can't really quote them for you, but
But there is a social media policy. There is to go to if you wanted to.
Yeah, for social media and also for commenting on our site. Yeah, I mean, but I think the big thing is that we do encourage we encourage our individual writers to to build their networks, and we put their Twitter handles at the ends of their stories. The more ways we have to get stories out to people, the better. So if we put your Twitter at the end of your articles, because the more Twitter followers you have when you post one of your stories to it, the wider that audience is as well.
I'm going to wrap it up now, but because I want to get back to the topic of the journalism schools, and so social media is very important. Some video skills, some production skills, the basic writing skills and reporting skills. Is there anything else? Is there something? Anything else that I'm missing? How about like ethics? Should there be a journalistic ethics? Is that changing with the new media? The ethics.
I mean, I think it's more important than ever. Part of it is we're sort of in a day and age where people sort of grow up as publishers. Everyone, kids have Twitter from when they're. I mean, I have nephews who have Twitter accounts who are, not old enough to use them yet, but as soon as they are, so I mean, everyone is sort of I don't know if I'm expressing this right, but they sort of they grow up at being able to publish things. And I had a conversation with head of a local journalism department who said, it's more important than ever now for people to sort of understand the ethics of publishing something, because everyone conceivably has an audience of millions. So it's and what he was getting at was that the communication or journalism degree was almost becoming sort of like the English degree when I was in college, the sort of like de facto liberal arts degree in a way. So it's got something everyone needs for general communications. I'm speaking in fragments here, but sort of like the standard degree, and everyone can use. But I think sort of stepping back from that, it's important, I think, to not forget the power of a phone call or a face-to-face interaction, because so much journalism can be done from your desk, whether it's you're following Twitter for looking for stories, So I would hope that as the focus of journalism shifts to the digital age, that people don't lose track of, or don't lose sight of the power of personal interaction, because that's that's still key.